the time. We are on the first Sunday of Lent. And the message is clear that we see temptation here and there, left and right. Temptation for man and temptation for the Son of God. And so if there is any word that is very common between the first reading and the gospel reading, it will be temptation. And if there is any reading that unites the first reading and the second reading, it is the second reading. The first reading and the gospel reading, it is the second reading. Where St. Paul tries to, to justify whatever that has happened, both to the first Adam and the second. The first Adam is the one that fell, and the second is the one that will redeem mankind, the person of Jesus. And so it's very wonderful to hear about these things. We must keep in mind that Genesis chapters 1 to 11 are more of catechetical in nature. They are more of catechetical, so they are there to also teach us in an extraordinary way how to recognize the presence of God in our life. And so we must, pause for a while and reflect how we live our lives, especially when the trial comes. Because certainly we have different trials in our lives. There are a lot of things that push us to the wall, whereby we make choices without reflection. We make decisions without meditation. And then at the end, if our conscience is actually active, it begins to condemn what we have done. First reading from the book of Genesis. We see the original plan of God, certainly, of how man was going to live. We see the beauty of God's original plan, the beauty of creation. This has nothing to do with desert. This is a garden. And in a garden, there is nothing lacking there. So everything is there. It is not a place where somebody feels hungry. It is not a place where somebody looks for something and it doesn't find. Whatever one needed to be satisfied was there. But then what can take one away from that, that satisfaction is also there, which will be indicated: do not touch, do not eat. The Lord has instructed. In the garden, we see humanity created in intimacy with God. In the garden, we see abundance of life. Yet comes a quiet temptation. Something is very clear. Something is very clear. The serpent did not impose anything on the woman. He tempted the woman. When temptation comes our way, it doesn't come with harsh voice, It first of all appears very appealing, something missing in your life. Why not give it a trial? What are you doing? Get up, come on, you can do it. That is how it normally comes. And so, the serpent began by raising a question. Why must you actually believe God? Already listening to the question that the serpent raises, one can ask himself, if he or she was to be found there, why must I continue to even believe God? Did God say you should not? The question, did God say you should not eat the fruit in the garden? Very cunning. I don't know how you see all the animals, all these wild animals. I don't know how you see them all. But there is always a kind of, I don't know, a kind of ugliness that comes with this particular one. What you call snakes. There is a kind of ugliness that comes with it. If not for any other reason, at least for the role that it plays, biblically speaking. And we know it causes a lot of harm. In the physical life, it causes a lot of harm. Apart from going, actually out from here, in the physical life, we are living in our society. Just, was it not 2 weeks ago? A snake can kill somebody. Inside her room, it's not as if she went somewhere. Somebody will be sleeping and the snake will come and poison him. Poison her. And that is all. Nothing can be done. Inside your house, you were not going somewhere. You were not exposed, but inside. There are different wild animals, but this particular one, maybe also because of the role it plays in the scriptures, it has a kind of ugliness that cannot be, associated with other animals. Very appealing the way he was speaking to the woman in the first reading of today. It suggests, the serpent suggests to the woman, it plants doubts in the mind of the woman. Did God really say? And so the fall begins not with an action, but with suspicion of the one who has created us. And immediately we suspect the one who has created us. What creeps in will be to disobey, to desire more, to change our level, to go higher, to attain higher. And so what one has is no longer enough. And so at that point in time, the trust in God becomes weak. And so anything goes, anything is supported. The trust now is on the serpent, no longer on the one who gave life, who even created the Satan, the serpent itself. And when the trust is shifted, every other thing is shifted. Every other aspect of life is changed for worse. And so that is the story we see. That is the lines we see in the first reading. And so Adam and Eve grabbed what was not given. And sin enters human story. Certainly, sin doesn't come alone. Once sin enters, death also enters. Because from sin enters shame, enters fear, enters separation. And whoever that is separated from God embraces death immediately. We cannot live without him. And so we realize that since man could not live accordingly, could not adhere, could not obey the instruction of God, all have sinned and have fallen short of God's glory. And humanity needs redemption, needs salvation, needs to be delivered, needs to be rescued. So, we see in the gospel reading of today, Jesus Christ on another occasion. This is Matthew's account. Matthew's account is completely different from that of Mark, but it's the same with that of Luke. The Spirit always, both in Matthew and Luke, the Spirit always leads Jesus into the desert to be tempted. But in Mark's account, the Gospel of Mark, the Spirit does not lead Jesus. It drives, it pushes Jesus to be tempted. And why must Jesus in the first place be tempted? Why? Is it to prove that Jesus Christ is stronger or to prove something else? Maybe to let us know that one can resist also temptation. It was necessary that Jesus was tempted. To see that one can adhere to the instructions of God. That one can attain greatness, can attain glory meant for humans if one adheres to the instruction of God. And so the message is very clear. Jesus responds with faith, patience, obedience, and where Adam resisted, Jesus surrendered. Where Adam resisted the trust that should be permanent, Jesus surrendered and embraced that trust completely. Very, very important. The message of Lent. Life is a constant choice between two voices. There will always be two voices. There are no three voices, only two. The one that leads rightly and the one that leads wrongly. But for one to be able to distinguish between these two voices, one must be prayerful, one must be meditative, one must spend time for personal reflection in order to be able to differentiate, because sometimes it's not always easy. Because human body, human desire is always attached, or mainly attached, or often attached to the wrong voices, because that voice suggests that is very appealing to the body, very appealing to the eyes. And so, it is very, very important to understand that there are two voices and to be able to distinguish between them. One voice invites us to trust in God completely, the true voice. The other voice invites us to trust ourselves more than God, to trust ourselves, to put ourselves at the center. And I said it, every temptation we encounter begins with small compromises. The one who is serving his master. The master cannot always be there at the shop. And the guy is always there. He continues to sell things. Now it is also possible to, write fake receipts now. Okay, he has sold something 50,000. He has sold it 50,000. Somebody paid 50,000. But because the master has said, if people are not buying, you can reduce the price to 40,000. What does he do? He goes to the invoice and do what? Right, okay, 45. The other 5,000 can go inside my pocket. At least I was the one who fought to get that 50,000. After all, he said I should sell it 40,000, but I am being very generous. Let me just add extra 5,000 to him. And then I add that 5,000. The other 5,000 is my own. On another occasion, another person will come. He will fight more, and sell even the thing. Maybe 75,000. Hi, 75,000. No, this market is very serious. So what can we not do? No. Anyway, last time I gave him 45. Okay, let us make it for him 50 this time. 50,000. He will be very proud of me. After all, that is his highest. That is what he's expecting. And he will give 50. Put 25 inside his pocket. Getting richer and richer, more than his master. Inside his mind, he's doing absolutely well. He's clever than any other person. We don't want to talk about all the, the mountain of lies he's telling to the customers. This thing you are buying now, we bought it at the rate of 49,000, and I'm selling it 50,000 for. What was bought 30,000? He will steal, he will lie. And it's difficult to find somebody who steals, who doesn't lie. They walk hand in hand. You can even catch him holding something that he's still lying. The hand has not left. He's still lying. No. I'm only observing it. All this kind of evil, that is not being contented with what one has. It begins with little compromises. He will start with 5,000. Next, 25. Next, he will even say their invoice is not found anywhere. It's not found. Gradually. Everything is lost. Another one is the master himself. It's okay. 2,000 is enough for him. He can take lunch. He can take breakfast. After all, he leaves the house before me. Let him take breakfast and take lunch from there. No problem. I only come around 12 and then disappear again to visit somebody. 2,000. After some time, he has said, the other one gave his son 1,500. 1,500? And I'm giving 2,000. No. Why should I give 2,000? No. And even that other man is richer than me. Why should I give 2,000? No. Next time. 1,500. Please manage this 1,500. You know things are very hard. But he's selling a lot of things for you. Things are very hard. Before you know what is happening, no, 1,000. You don't know the government we are into now? No, on your mandate, please, let us reduce this thing. Oh yeah, we reduce it. 1,000. Things are hard. You see, we don't have customers again. When it is happening, indirectly, you are also pushing the boy to begin to think like the other first boy. To begin to write fake invoices. I know, these days people tell you, I buy everything, I give you invoice. But the Nigeria you are living today is a Nigerian where somebody, before he writes the invoice, Oga, how much I go write? You have bought something, he knows the price. Oga, now how much I go write? I begin to ask myself, there is no cross-checking about all these things. It's no longer how much you bought something, but how much you desire to be written there. And somebody will just carry the invoice, and present it to you. You get 40,000, they have written 40,000. Where are you to prove that one? Small compromises. That is where our failure begins. And once we get used to it, to leave it becomes difficult. After all, I have to do it again. Father Nathaniel is always there to confess in the first Mass. Every day they are there. 3 people will always confess. Let me take it this time. I will confess, no problem. In the evening, I will confess. Let me not go for morning Mass. I will go for evening Mass and confess, no problem. I will go and confess it. Next week, another opportunity. But Father Charles will be there. I will have to confess, no problem. I catch it, I put it inside my book, no problem. It's also just simple thing. What is that? After all, my master has a lot. Or in the company where you are working, things are coming, You are cornering some certain things. Some goods, they say, send it here. And you divert some to your side. Since there is nobody who can cross-check, you are almost at the top. So there are some of them. The problem you are facing today, why your fuel will be very expensive. Some are diverted to private, persons. When people are not contented, they can go to any extent to do evil. And it's gradually that we get into that. This one has nothing to do with tree that you are going to eat, like Adam and Eve. No, there are other trees that are living among us. He's using iPhone 17 Pro Max, and I'm still struggling with this iPhone 14 Pro Max. Oh my God, I have to look for something to do. No, I cannot. But he invited me the other day, I didn't go. Maybe I can go this time. After all, I'm not passing a night. No problem, I can go. Then I go. The money is not complete. Maybe some other, okay, I'll come next week. But you have to pass a night. I don't have to pass. Anyway, but I need this phone. I have to. Let's just, nothing will happen. Everything begins with small compromises. And so the one who must win the world must be very prepared, must be well seasoned in order to face the world. Because the evil one will never tempt you with what you don't like. If you are not attached to beer, if you are not attached to Heineken, you are not attached to small stouts, you are not attached to, trophy or whatever you call it. Satan will never tempt you with all these things. He is looking for what you are attached to. Maybe what you are attached to is smoothie, concussion. And your neighbor is what your neighbor sells. Sometimes he goes to see some people, please look after my shop. You go to that place where she put the volume that cannot be discovered. You go there and settle yourself before she returns. The tempter will tempt you with what you need most, what appears very appealing. The woman in the first reading saw the tree, and it's so good. And it's very, very It's very delight. Looking at it is very, very appealing to the eyes. And that is why. So he will never present anything that is not attractive to you. You look for that thing that is very attractive and present it to you. But how you respond is what really matters. And so, in the case of Jesus, we see that it is a desert moment. It is a desert moment. And we know that after 40 days and 40 nights, it is a serious situation. One must be weak. Humanly speaking, Jesus was completely weak. But divinely speaking, he was stronger than usual. Those who do extraordinary prayers, they go into fasting, to the desert walk. Of course, some people go wrongly. Okay? They prepare themselves in order to fight the evil one. Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. And at the end, he was hungry. The tempter did not go to him and tell him, you need to dance. So no. He knew he was very hungry. And he went with that idea of reminding him that you have what it takes to give yourself something to eat. Command the son, let them become bread so that you can eat. Look at you, you are so hungry, you need something. He will be very appealing to you, and you think you are with him. You are not with him. But Jesus was clever than the evil one. He was clever than the tempter. He was clever than whatever he could imagine. And tempted Jesus in various ways. And he's teaching us, Jesus Christ is teaching us, that we can resist the temptation of attachment, of flesh, of consumerism. Looking for a lot of things. We must accumulate everything we see. Anywhere I'm working, if I don't have personal way of making my own profit on the ground, that other people don't know. No, after some while, I look for some other place. Okay? I must gain. In everything I find, I must have something to gain. And that is what is destroying a lot of people in Nigeria today. God has written for you that your last bus stop is governorship. That you must become governor. That is your last bus stop. But before you even finish as a governor, you begin to do many other things because you don't want that last bus stop to be as governor. You want to go beyond that. So you can accommodate all sorts of evil. You can embrace even the evil one in order to go higher. Even when you know that you look for happiness, you will not find it. Some of us who are seated here, you may not know what you are undergoing. You don't know the kind of peace you have. Until you find yourself now that you cannot be without some people guiding your life. That is when you understand. Some people cannot sleep unless people flank them. And their sleep, any small noise that will happen at night, they wake up before every other person. You see, the one who's supposed to be free is in prison, is in bondage now because of what the market he went to buy for himself. Last bus stop is governorship. But you want to become Senate. You want to go to the Senate. You want to do this, do that. Because you always want to accumulate. You know how many people who must have died? And the money they stored in different places were claimed by some other persons. Poor people were dying in their streets, in their villages, no road, nothing. And our God is so merciful, isn't it? Our God is very, very merciful, but he's also very, very just. He's also very, very righteous. That is the situation. So we have different kinds of compromises that we embrace in our world today. And so Jesus has taught us that this moment is a moment whereby we must be prepared to face life. There will be challenges. We must be ready to face life because there will be challenges in our lives. Okay? And if we want to choose Christ as our model, we must always choose patience over anger. We must always choose truth over lies. We must always choose kindness over selfishness. Me, myself, and I. Every other person is secondary. Once mentality is like that, everything is lost at the point of departure. Because any other person doesn't matter for me. And that is why I seek for what pleases me, not what pleases God. Once I am at the center, God is by the side. Okay? And if I really want God to be at the center, I must be by the side, allowing him to transform me. Be contented with what I have. I shouldn't go for everything that will render me restless. And we know, St. Augustine has already told us in his first book of Confession chapter 1, he said that we are made for God. Our hearts remain restless until they rest in him. And it is on that note that we are called to return back to God, to confess our sins, and to ask God to transform our hearts, to make us to be satisfied with what we have, so that we move from the first Adam to the second one. We move from the one who was in the garden to the one who was found in the desert. From the one who has fallen victim of the serpent to the one who has defeated the tempter, so that everything about our life may become a testimony, so that this journey of Lenten season may transform us and make us better, so that at the end of our lives we may be judged worthy before the presence of God. May the good Lord bless this word.